our motto from the beginning when my wife and I started our real estate team, and I want to give you some context because my wife and I, we've been in the industry for probably about 9 years now. I was an ISA at one point. We worked for a sign company. I mean, we've kind of done it all. Mary has been an assistant. She's now the director of operations for our team. Um, but when we started our team back in 2020, one of the things that we wanted to really be known for was, I see a lot of taglines. I see a lot of real estate teams and agents who have a tagline that, you know, insert X thing here, right? Like, I'm really good at X, or I'm really cool, look at me. And I wanted to stand on some principles that meant something. So that's where real relationships, real estate came from. I really wanted to build a business that cared about people because I had already seen it, right? Being in the industry and seeing some of the drudgery and just the crap that gets thrown out there. I really wanted to stand on something. Um, as the kids say, I wanted to stand on business. And that's where real relationships, real estate came from. And it's not just a tagline for our business, it's a way of life. It is how we do business on a regular basis. And I want to give you some notes because I don't know the experience level of agents in here. I mean, I know that Global Alliance has, teams doing a ton of production and maybe you're new here, so I'll give you kind of the macro level view of my wife and I's real estate business. So we started our team in 2020 and we've helped over 200 families since then personally. That doesn't include people that we've brought to our team or to our organization. And so I tell you that because the numbers behind it, I'm the big numbers guy. I love numbers. The numbers behind it will tell you that that is sphere of influence, that is agent to agent referrals, that is community engagement that have turned into business, that is church, that is everything that involves being in relationship with people. That is how we've helped 200 plus families in the past four and a half, 5 years and continue. It's why we're selective about who joins our team. And it's funny because our coach is actually in this call, and she literally told us the other day, she's like, why are you doing this way? You're a relationship team. You should be doing the smaller things that make people feel like your mom and dad instead of this big corporate thing. And I was like,
Who's your
oh yeah,
coach?
that makes sense.
Who's your coach, Brandon?
Jenna,
Oh, hey, Jenna. We love Jenna.
we love Jenna. She is awesome. But it's always good to be reminded of that. Like, hey, you got in this to build relationships with people. So why would you ever shy away from that? So I'm going to touch on that a bit. I wrote some key points here, and I want to give you kind of a few things that we really try and implement, whether that's an agent joining our team or our organization, whether they're experienced or new. We have this exact same conversation. Where can you add value in the people around you's life without asking for business? And I think that a lot of the times we get caught up in, because I grew up in a culture in real estate, I grew up in this culture of, all right, so here's the script. You're going to call these 50 people that you know, tell them you got licensed, and ask for business. And when I got into real estate, I was like, man, this sounds abysmal. And this was during COVID too, when I got licensed and got started this team with my wife. And I was like, man, this is abysmal. Like, no one cares about my real estate business right now because their family member is dying or really sick, or, maybe they're losing their jobs at the beginning of the pandemic, like that was happening. And so I developed this system where I was like, hey, like, let's go find our generals. Right. And we talk about it when we talk about rev share and we talk about building our organization out, we talk about our generals, right? These are the people that are going to go bring people to our organization, start help building a downline, building their downline, etc. But we don't talk about it enough in the real estate in terms of day-to-day sales. Now, for me, and this is a very extreme case, so take this with a grain of salt and adjust it how you need to. But for me, generals are five people that if a gun was put to their head tomorrow and they needed to refer me real estate business, they were sending me business. And when we identify these generals, this allows us to pour into them. This allows us to go and only spend time with them because not only is it an income producing activity, which if you're a team leader or you're an agent that's very successful, you know that is your bread and butter. If you're not doing income producing activities, then you are not thriving in your business. That's an income producing activity. So what I started doing is I started really writing down like, man, like what's going on with this person? How deep is my relationship? How deep can I go? Can I go a mile deep in this relationship instead of, 25 relationships that are a mile wide? And so what ended up happening is I identified my generals and they've changed over time, but I just started pouring into them and loving on them. And you'd be surprised how many people pay attention to what you do without you having to bring it up and go, "Hey, did you know I sell real estate?" I started meeting with people and I started really having these intentional, honest conversations about their life and their dreams, their hopes and desires. And then I started to figure out how I could help them achieve what they wanted in their life, whether that was helping them get a job somewhere or connecting them with someone who provided a service that they needed. Whether it didn't matter what it was. It was, I'm going to plug into your life. I'm going to provide an immense amount of value because when I've earned the right to ask you for whatever I want, you're not going to say no. But better yet, I'm not going to have to ask for it. And so those people became my main supporters. They were the people shouting us out on Facebook. And some of these people ended up being clients. Some of them still aren't clients to this day, and that's okay because that's not the point of having these generals. What this does is this furthers an intimate, meaningful, intentional connection with someone that will help you get wherever you want to go in your business. Um, I think that a lot of people miss that, and especially I'm a man. I don't have like a million guy friends, right? I have my guys. I have my close guys, right? But those relationships are solid. I think a lot of people miss in our industry, oh yeah, I'm friends with this person and I know this person and I'm friends with like 20 title reps and 20 mortgage people. But how deep are those relationships, right? We always talk about how many friends we have and how many friends we have on Facebook and how many people follow us on Instagram and how many YouTube subscribers we have. But how deep are those relationships? So these generals, these are going to be so important for you. And if you have them, great. Continue to pour into them. Take them to coffee, take them to lunch, take them to dinner. If they're having a baby, send them a gift. If you just want to send them something because you were thinking about them and you saw it at Marshall's or TJ Maxx or wherever you shop regularly, like my wife does, I can't tell you how many times my wife will just buy something for someone and say, I was thinking about you and I really like
Yeah.
this gift. Thought, remind me of you. Hey, here's this thing. And that's adding that I don't know, some of y'all maybe didn't grow up like this, but I grew up with a 5-gallon water jug of like pennies and stuff. You're just tossing a penny into the jug. My grandmother used to tell me those are life savings. I'm like, there's no way. It's like, oh, this is your college fund. And I'm like, wait a second. Think of this as a drop in the bucket. Every time you throw a penny, every time you take someone to lunch, to dinner, and you're really intentionally pouring into them and providing value in their life, this is something that is adding to that bucket. It's adding to that 5-gallon jug. Um, you mentioned community, and it's funny because I took notes prior to you introducing me, and I wanted to talk about this. Um, there are a lot of people that do things publicly to be seen. And when we're talking about adding value to other people and bringing business to our world, community comes to mind. And it is so important that we're involved in the community. But I think why we're involved in the community has to be the main step before you even get started. I can tell you that I started a pickleball group with my church because I wanted to play pickleball with other men and wanted to do a Bible study, right? Not because I wanted to get 20 people a week to get together and then try and get real estate business out of it. But guess what? The real estate conversations started happening immediately because I'd wear my shirts or I'd wear my hat or whatever. And they'd be like, yeah, like you're in real estate. Tell me about it. How's the market? Whatever, the generic conversations that we have. But I started to build a community and I started to see the immediate returns on me just wanting to foster an environment where people could hang out, feel comfortable, and be intentional and grow relationships with them. And so when we're talking about getting into community, there's a couple different things you can do. And there's a lot of people that I know that are involved in nonprofits and there's a lot of philanthropy that happens, and that's amazing. And if that's something that you're passionate about, you should 100% explore that. be intentional about it. Find something that you actually like are really into. I have a friend who supports an autism nonprofit that he's really passionate about. His kid's got autism, and so it's something that he's plugged into. Because there's kind of a need in his family for it. But find something that you love, find something you're passionate about, and get plugged into it. And you'd be surprised how many different avenues this opens up for you to have meaningful relationships within your community. Um, I've seen so many people that are there's a charity that's out here. It's called the Ballard House. It was started by another brokerage's market center, and it's a staple in our community. People come for cancer care, medical care, and they get to stay there for free. And that company will donate a check every month to this place, and really, really cool thing. And I bring it up because it's real estate. The market center, you know, uh, did it, and I was like, cool, that's awesome. Um, they're intentional about it. That's part of their identity. So when we're talking about community, like there's getting involved in like philanthropy, nonprofits, and things like that. And then there's also just getting out there and like making your face known in the community. There's a lot of secret agents in our business, and you can't say I'm a part of this community and I'm involved if you're not out at your kids' extracurriculars, if you're not showing up to local farmers market, if you're not going to, your neighborhood movie night or whatever else is going on. You have to plug into your community and you have to build those relationships because if you don't, someone else will. This is guaranteed. Like, I'm telling you right now, like I did a chili cook-off in my neighborhood because I didn't want someone else to do it. And like 20 people showed up and we ate chili. But I had 4 real estate conversations, right? And then no one else has done a chili cook-off since because it's my chili cook-off, right? But if you don't do it, someone else is going to because someone else had the idea 3 months ago and they're now implementing it, right? You have the opportunity to go out and be a part of your community in multiple facets and capacities. So identify what you want to do. I mean, it doesn't have to be what someone else is doing. If you live in a new construction community, there's a lot of really good ways for you to get involved in your community because there's a lot of people moving to a new neighborhood for the first time at the same time. Start bringing people together. Get partnered with your HOA. That's one big thing that we talk about is like, how can I get involved with my HOA? Um, so we're talking about community and really pushing the intentionality of what we do as real estate professionals and business owners. Um, I have a friend, she does a shred day. And like I'm kind of arrogant sometimes. So I was like, who's going to a shred day? She gets like 50 people to show up and like shred old documents, like tax documents and things like that. And mind you, like we're at EXP, so like everything's virtual and we keep all of our documents in the cloud that we need to. Um, yeah, somebody said I go to shred days. I didn't know that was a thing. But like this person every like 6 months is doing a shred day. That's a way to be involved in the community. Um, Someone said local bank does the shred days. Find a way to partner with them if you're not. Like, hey, how can I provide value? I am like the worst about partnering with lenders that aren't like my people that I like. But like you have a credit union near you, realistically, that will probably do this and you can partner with them and be involved in your community. And guess what? They normally have a mortgage lender at these banks and credit unions that you can partner with, develop a relationship with, and just provide value in their life. So when that first time home buyer comes in, they're like, I'm applying for a loan at insert big box bank here or credit union. They're going to think of you because of that partnership that you guys have for doing a shred day, which is nuts, but it works. It's simple things, simple actions that allow you to move the needle and achieve the things you want in your life. It's crazy to me how many people miss out on the small things. You know, we get asked like from our past clients, "Hey, can you sponsor my kids' baseball team?" And I used to think like that's kind of a waste of money. I don't have kids, right? Like I'm not gonna like do that. But it's not about the money spent versus the money in for those types of things. It's brand recognition and having your face be known. Now, obviously, be smart about it with how you're spending your money. I'm never like go blow money. That's not smart. But you have such an opportunity to make your face known. And I know there's different markets being represented in the room today, but I'm going to give you an example. We're in Houston. Jenna's in Houston. Okay. She's in my market. We're so far apart that, like, if she just stayed in her area and I stayed in mine, like, we would never cross events because she's in the Heights. That's a different country down there. Okay. That's how you have to look at this. Is there so much business to be had that you do not need to worry about who's going to show up? I want realtors to come to my events. I want them to know what I'm doing because they're not doing it. Or if they are, we're going to mastermind and collab on how we can get better and how we can do it better. Maybe we'll host something together and then there's a conversation about developing a relationship and what it looks like for them to partner with us in our organization at EXP, right? This is so important that you just make your face known. You don't have to go and spend a bunch of money, but you have to be present in your community. Um, Last thing I'll say about this community thing, and then I'm going to move on to my third topic. Um, I really think it's important that you do this for the right reasons. Um, when we sit there and analyze why we're doing the things we're doing, it doesn't need to be altruistic, but I want it to be known that you probably need to do these things for the right reason. Obviously, we want to make money. Obviously, we want to close more homes. Want to, create an organization and build a downline and do all the things. But when we're intentional about how we operate as human beings, not just business owners, but as human beings, the relationships are easy. The relationships come second nature. But if we go in and we're known for doing things to be seen, as in, like, I'm posting on Facebook about how I just tithe to my church type of thing, that's not going to work. And be intentional about that because when you're doing things for the right reasons, that business is going to show up. I think that a lot of people should just show up. So I'll leave it at that. The next thing I want to touch on is how you out relationship the market in terms of your business. So we've kind of talked about, like, setting it up. Okay, well, I've started meeting people and maybe you're closing a couple of deals out of this stuff that you're doing in your community and with your generals and you're starting to get some referrals. Our business is, until January of this year, has been either agent to agent referral, pay at close referral source, or sphere of influence past clients. So Mary's job on our team as director of operations, she wears many hats, but one of the things that she does really well is she takes care of client care coordination. And so when we go under contract, something that she does is she does an intake form. She wants to know what they're into. And she takes notes. Maybe she doesn't go to the showings all the time. So I'll tell her, hey, kids had Disney backpacks and one of them was wearing a Lilo and Stitch sweater or whatever. So Mary, in her infinite spending power and wisdom, will go out and buy a custom closing basket based on those items, based on our intake form. And not that we need an excuse to spend money and write it off as a tax write off, but we've listened, we've seen, we've observed. And this has allowed the clients to see that we're paying attention, right? This has now given us permission for the ask in the relationship. So we give them a closing basket at closing. It's custom. We've picked things out for them. We deal with a lot of new home buyers in the Houston market because our price point's fairly low. And a lot of the time it's just picking out like a nice pot set, or maybe it's picking out a nice knife set, or hand towels with things that they like. The husband likes Batman or whatever. I know if I got Batman hand towels, I'd be pretty excited, and I'd remember that instead of like the bottle of wine that a lot of people buy or whatever. When people go over to that house, they're gonna go, oh, I really like this spatula set. Where'd you get it? Oh, my realtor got it for me at closing. Oh, that's really cool. My realtor didn't do that for me. And then what we do on that back end, right? So now we've paid attention to the client, paid attention to their needs. We've opened up the relationship, right? We've spent some time with them. Well, then we started really figuring out, okay, well, how can we, like, throughout the year, stay in relationship with this person, be a part of their life, and continue to stay in touch with them, but not so like, hey, just following up to see how the house is. You know, Mary's biggest thing is these events. And this is where I think you have the biggest opportunity to have the biggest impact and really create relationships that will last and will continue to feed you business. Um, we do once a year, we do a minor league baseball game. We rent out the bullpen sections, about 100 people, and we get to watch a baseball game together. It's next to the splash pads, next to the bar. They get a $25 gift card to use at the stadium, included with their ticket. We get with our sponsors, and we fill it out every time. But what we do every single time when we do these events, we do two things. We do an intake form. Hey, who do you know that would have fun at this event, right? We're getting back to the ask. Because I'm big on like, I'm not going to ask for something unless I've earned the right to ask for it. Who do you know that would have fun? Not who do you know that wants to buy or sell real estate? Because they're gonna be like, no one. Who do you know that would have fun at this event? We're going to already start a relationship with someone predicated on the fact that I want them to have fun at my events. I want them to enjoy being with us and seeing we're not all real estate. But when it's time to do the real estate thing, we're going to love the crap out of you and we're going to be friends for life. So we do this intake form. And then at the event, we're talking to everyone. I love baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan. I don't get to watch the game because I have to do what I have to do, which is further the relationships, love on people. I got a client that comes every year. She was like my first rental client. I mean, we've been invited to the wedding, the bachelorette. Mary was invited to the bachelorette party. Um, I mean, all that type of stuff, all those life events, those happen because we continue to pour into people. This person has never once bought a house with us. They're a rental client, and we've gone and given them everything in a bag of chips that we can, specifically so that we can give them so much value for when it is time for them to buy a house, which knock on wood, hopefully is this year after a few leases. Um, it's really a no-brainer. There's no ask. It's like, why would I go to anyone else? I don't have to ask, hey, Jacretia, would you be willing to, sit down with us and talk consultation and all that? No, it's like, hey, I'm ready to rock. Let's go. You guys are my people. Let's go. Right? Because we've put the drops in the bucket for 4 years. There's no other person she'd rather go with. She shouts us out on Facebook. She's always talking about us to her friends and family. We get invited to life events. That's when you know you've made it in the relationship. It should be a no-brainer. So we spend a lot of time on events throughout the year and pouring into our clients and showing up in that area. But there's one even further. And when I first got into real estate about 9 years ago, I was like, man, I don't know if I'd ever want to be friends with my clients on Facebook because I don't want them to see my unhinged posts. And turns out they want to be a part of our lives. And so when we open that door and allow them to see kind of our world and that we're humanized and we don't just sell real estate 24/7 and we have a life, we get to be a part of their world too. And this allows us to go in and see life events that are happening. Hey, so and so's having a baby, or they're getting married, or they're getting divorced. We've had like 4 divorces this year. And unfortunately, like it just apparently the pandemic taught people they didn't like each other. But we're seeing that, right? And that allows us to go in and help be that resource. Got a couple divorce listings right now where it is what it is. But you know what? We've been that resource. We've been there. We've stayed in touch over the years. This particular client is a musician. He's in like doom metal, which I like metal. I'm not into doom metal. Doom metal is like a whole different subculture. But like I know bands and venues and like send him some resources on people he should connect with. Like this was like a year ago, right? That relationship part. And it's not even real estate related, but it was a touch point where I could follow up with these people without the explicit intent of saying, hey, are you going to be like moving anytime soon? Or, hey, do you need to sell your house? Or, hey, do you know anyone that wants to buy a house or whatever? That check in that, hey, I saw this thing and I want to be a part of your life and I want to give you value. That creates so much business. We ended up selling one of his houses a few weeks ago. Another one we're putting back on the market this week. And so that allows us, again, the ask, there's no ask. We know the relationship is there because we've given enough value. And it's the jab, jab, jab hook concept. Jab, 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 and then you finally get the ask, and it's like it's over. And for me, like I will always seek the relationship first because I know the business will come afterwards. So to wrap that up and kind of give you an idea of what really works for us. Now, this may not work for everyone, but I've seen it work for a lot of people. I teach our agents this. You have to listen. And I'm glad Mary's not here because she's gonna laugh at this. If I listen to my wife more and the things that she likes and wants to do, I would probably be not in trouble as much. So why don't we treat that the same way in our business? Why aren't we listening more to our clients and their wants, needs, and desires and hopes and dreams? Right? Start dreaming with your clients again. There's a lot of people that will just, okay, I'm selling another house. Well, it's not just another house. Sometimes it's a generational curse. Sometimes it's um, we had two young ladies who were dating, and there was a lot of drama surrounding that. They bought a house together, and that was huge. It was like wild. They literally had a safe place to live because they bought a house together, and we got to be a part of that. And when we get to really listen to our clients and hear what their hopes, dreams, and desires are, it creates a whole different experience that lasts longer than the 90 days from working with them to closing, right? It creates this everlasting bond that they're going to shout your praises from the mountaintops because you probably didn't do anything crazy. You probably didn't do anything new to real estate. I mean, that's not really most of the time we don't. Sometimes we have these cool things where it's like, yeah, like I negotiated this thing and I got this and they got like 50K off and blah blah blah. But like most of the time it's like, hey, I did this thing and we closed a house. So we have to find something there that really deepens that relationship. And a lot of the times it just comes to paying attention to the client and their needs and their wants, hopes, dreams, and desires. But I think it's important that you understand that this is different strokes for different folks. If you only work with military clients, you may not have as deep of relationships with certain people because a lot of the military clients I've worked with, they're very closed off. They don't want to really like let a bunch of people know about their life. If you're working with engineers, those are people who literally you were there to do a service and that's it. Like get out, right? There's going to be people that you may not do more than one transaction with, but each client is worth 5.5 transactions. So how do we ethically, intentionally, and lovingly extract 5.5 clients out of each closing? We do it through relationships. And this is the thing that will keep you busy. It will help you grow your business. It will help you sell as much real estate as you want to sell. And I don't, I we have lead sources that we've added in. I don't look at those as like, this is going to help me. I mean, it's going to help me scale, right? But the relationships still have to matter. Like a lot of our leads right now are coming in through an investor source through Bigger Pockets. And I still have to show them the relational side of investing in real estate in my market, especially because relationships to them are a trusted advisor in the market because they're in Seattle, California, New York, Ohio, whatever. And so you have to really show people that you are the person that they want to be in a relationship with for a very long time. Because when that call happens, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful you chose me. It's like, oh, I knew this was going to happen because I provided so much value for the past year and a half that there was no other choice. Um, so that being said, um, I'm a little earlier than expected, but I did promise Jen we would keep it open for Q&A. I hope that was helpful. I hope that provides value in your business that you can immediately take out and use, with people around you, your agents on your team, if you're a team leader, if you're a solo agent, whatever. So
That was amazing, Brandon. I'll do the round of applause. Everyone's thinking about the applause, but I'll be the noise here. I want to start with a question though, because I love that you have an intake form. Can you go through your intake form and what your intake form, specific questions that your intake form has?
yeah, so we use Jotform, pretty easy to use. And a lot of it is gathering contact information because you would be surprised how many times people's information changes in a year, phone numbers, emails, etc. Yes, I'm going to put Mary's email in the chat here. Somebody asked if we can
Share your intake form.
she'll share it. So this form looks like this. It's like it's very event specific. So for the baseball game, hey, we're excited to see you this year. This is what's included in your ticket. This is what time the game starts, first pitch. We're gonna do a raffle for the first pitch. We always do that every year. And then name, email, phone number, and then hey, has your address changed? Because we have rental clients and whatever. Hey, has your address changed? Really good way for us to find out if we like these clients still or not. Because if they use someone else, we're like, but we do this list, and then below that, hey, who do you know that would have fun at this event? Now, this is where we get them. If you put someone in here, we'll raffle you off for the first pitch, right? So we've given them all the value, JOT form, DD. It's a JOTFORM. This is the value stack and then the ask, right? Hey, bring your kids, bring your friends, bring your family. By the way, if you bring someone that's not like if they're outside of our ecosystem, we're going to reward you with a raffle for first pitch.
Gotcha. I love that. So you actually ask for like someone who would like to have fun, not like the referral. Like, do you know anyone that's thinking
Yeah.
about buying or selling?
So here's the thing. I want people to see the way we do things. Mary wants people to see the way we do things. We have
Mhm.
fun. We crack jokes. We're having a good time. And then here's what's going to happen. Because what normally happens is like a similar 50 people come to the event every year, and then like 25 new people come, right? And then we have like team and sponsors and things like that. I want the 25 new people to see what it's like to be the 50 regulars, right? And then we start building in the VIPs, right? So we have a VIP list of about like 13 clients and families, and those people always show up to our events. They've done multiple transactions with us. So this allows us to really show people and showcase, hey, this is what we do. It's not just real estate for us. We want to have fun. We want to build this relationship for you. We want to have this just this camaraderie, this just fun. And when they see that, they're like, they see that, and for me, this is where I have to keep my ego in check. I want to be better than their last realtor, right?
Mm.
That's why I'm inviting them. Or I want to be their last realtor. I don't want to be the next realtor and then they use someone else in the future. I want to be the beginning and the end for them. And it's really important that we show them who we are up front. Because if they see that, they're going to use us. Like they see that we're having fun, we're having a blast, and it turns into business every time.
Okay. I have so many more questions, but I'm just going to open up to everyone else. I love events. And so like, I just like to see how other people do it. But anyway, who has questions? Just unmute and ask away.
Well, hi everyone.
Hi, Jenna.
I know Brandon, so I can ask him a question or two because I can pick his brain a little bit where you guys can get some good information from him, I think. Because it's hard to talk about ourselves. Well, some people, maybe not me. But Brandon, I know because I know you and your wife a little bit on a personal level, and I know your team member. Um, I think a lot of agents get into real estate. They want to be the best of the best realtor. As you guys have seen your team grow, you've added a great team member in that's doing a lot of production. Your wife has really taken over a lot of the business that you previously kind of handled. As you've seen your business grow over the last year or two, how are you guys determining who's the best fit for different roles in your business? Like Mary being the customer service person. How is all that division of power working? And and what does the future look like for people who are an individual agent who are starting to like maybe start a team or bring their spouse on or have an admin? How does that look like for those people who are moving out of production into leadership?
Okay, so there's a few things in there. So first and foremost, Mary and I have always worked together. Like we met waiting tables at a restaurant together. Like we have always worked together. So we've known what our skill sets are since we've been together. That is very hard to do. You have to identify what your skill set is and what your potential leadership skills are, what your admin skills look like. Like Mary's always been in some type of admin role in real estate. So like we knew, like she knows contracts better than most people. And so we knew that because I'm unorganized and that's why my screen is blurred because my office is unorganized, um, that I was going to be the visionary. If you asked me to put a plan together, like thank God ChatGPT exists because if you asked me to put a plan together, I would cry. But Mary's like, all right, this is how we're gonna do it. Let's get it done. Get your butt together and move. And so that's really allowed us to separate our roles in our business. And if you're a solo agent, uh, the first thing you can do once you start producing, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed, is you can look at the TC platform or having an admin and what that looks like. And I will tell you this, like I don't care. I've been at EXP for 4 years, so this is not. I read the MREA. I'm sure a lot of us did. But Gary Keller wrote it about like how to basically
Because they record the
do things as a real estate agent. The first thing he talks about once you start producing is hiring an admin. This is why this gets talked about by people all the time. Leo's talked about it multiple times. Like it's the first step. But a lot of agents are like, well, I can't really go afford a 40, 50 grand a year salary or whatever in your market. For us, it's less. Hiring a TC is so important. As teams, it's really like we have to find the right people to plug into the different spots that we're deficient in. I'm hiring to my weaknesses, not to my strengths. I know that if I hire the right people around me that can do these things, then I don't have to worry about them and I'm leveraged. So, Jenna, in terms of your question, I think it's important that you just identify your strengths and your weaknesses, and then you go hire to that, or you go partner with people that can help you in those areas. And a good coach will tell you what your weaknesses are. If you are very self-aware, then you will also know what your weaknesses are.
I love that. That was awesome. All right, we've got 5 more minutes. You guys, anyone else have any questions? I want to pick Brendan's brain. I love that you're such a like servant leader. Like you really do. It seems, anyways, to me that you really do come from your heart in like everything that you do, and I love that so much.
I do have one question, Jen, for Brandon. Thank you for being here today, by the way. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I'm glad I joined, I was able to join. In reference to events, I do want to produce my first one coming in the spring. But how do you get your partners, whether it's a lender, to sponsor with you to maybe cover most of the costs?
Yeah.
Do you just
So
talk,
this is
hey,
actually something
let's
I
do
didn't
this?
talk about, and I probably should have, but this is applicable. Like this whole like I'm going to provide a ton of value first and then ask is applicable in every part of your life. Like your vendors too. Everybody wants your business. Every vendor wants your business. Every title company, every mortgage lender, every insurance person, they all want your business. The people that we work with, we're in business with, not because of their, the lender's really good in their production and the loan products they have. The insurance person that we work with, we were at a charity golf tournament and she was just like, hey, I'm Courtney. Nice meeting you. And I was like, wait, you don't want my business? Like, I'm so used to insurance people asking for my business. She was like, yeah, nice meeting you. Like, if I can do anything to provide value in your business, let me know. And I was like, I went home to Mary and I said, we need her. Then the ask came, right? I started sending her referrals. I think we sent her like 8 referrals last month. She sends Mary a $10 Marshalls gift card every time she gets a referral. So then we said, hey, well, you've been sending us all this. We actually are going to do our big event this year and we'd like you to be a part of it. And she was like, say no more. I'm in. By the way, I'm still going to send you these little gift card things. So, if you're, and I don't know what your production looks like, but if you're sending people files, like sit down with them and find out kind of what their life looks like and what their business looks like. And, title people, our title people, we left them for a little bit and like the relationship was just totally different. very transactional, lots of mistakes made. And then we came back to this one and there was extreme accountability and there was just, hey, we want to be a part of your life. We want to add value to your business. My title person, like the vice president of the company for the title person we use, literally booked us a sold out reservation at a restaurant for my wife's birthday. Like those are the types of people you want to be in the business with. And if you're being a part of their life and being a part of their world, hey, and here's what I will say: send them every year at the beginning of the year because we should business plan in November, December, right? So by the end of the year, we should be sending our partners something that says, "Hey, here's my events for the year. Please sign up and let me know what events you'd like to be a part of." Right? There's nothing wrong with that. You send them files; they make money. But if you're just like meeting someone the first time and you want them to sponsor your stuff, that's never going to work well. Because then there's now a transactional ideology attached to the outcome. I hope that answered.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's good. Any other questions? Does anybody want to ask anything else? Wait, okay, so one more question, Brandon, because I just
Yeah.
want, so piggybacking off of Dee Dee's question, so are you like putting in financially half of each event, or is there like a certain portion that you have that you put into
Yeah, so
these?
we tell our sponsors, like, you put in what you want. Like, we'll cover the rest. It's a marketing expense. We know we're gonna have to spend money. It's unfair to free roll an event. But I mean, it's happened. It's been great when it does, but we have to have skin in the game. And there's a certain level of respect that comes with that with our vendor partners that, hey, we've got skin in the game and so do you. We provide them a list of emails and a lot of people they've worked with. Like when we go to our baseball game, our lender's there and she's like, oh, I sold them that house, I sold them that house and that house. Our insurance person is like, oh, I worked with this person. Like, so it's not they already know what they're getting out of it. They know they're going to get the refis. They know they're going to get the listing when the house goes to title, right? So anyway, sorry, I kind of tangented there, but yes. So we'll say, hey, whatever you want to donate, great. And then like for our baseball game, it's February. Our baseball game's in May. We're already getting payments to the baseball stadium for it because I think we spend about $3,000 every year to do it. And I think we end up covering about half every time.
I love that. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon. We're right at 1 o'clock. If no one has any more other questions, well, Brandon, how can they reach you if maybe afterthought they might have some questions?
Yeah, so everything across the board is SSGHTX. I'll put it in the chat here. That's our Instagram, YouTube. You can find us on Facebook that way. If you want to connect with me personally, feel free to add me on Facebook or Mary as well. We'll put our stuff in there. And that's the easiest way to get a hold of us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Brandon. Thank you guys all for attending and being part of this. This was fun. And Jenna, nice seeing you, lovey. Have a great day, guys. Go crush it this
Thank
week.
you.